Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome back to another fine episode of Hallyujuku. I am Petey Rave. This is Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better than my Pandora playlist for my K-pop station is, because for some reason Christian rock keeps ending up in there. Wow.
It's an odd choice there.
Yeah, I don't know what the crossover is that keeps deciding that Christian rock belongs in with GD and T.O.P and everything else that I have marked as maybe acceptable in my playlist.
Maybe it's all those crosses, like giant crosses that GD always wears.
Right. And all the crosses that fucking the Taeyong paints all over himself, and they're just like, yeah, right, we got this. And I'm like,
no, you don't. Of course, we talk about, we always open our show talking about music, but our music has caught our attention this week. And Kaz, what have you been listening to this week?
So I decided to stick with a theme of, because last week I did Tableau and Epic High, kind of, in a sense of like, you know, we have a person that's listening to the show and they've very much latched on to liking Tableau's music and all the stuff he does, and they're moving on to listening to some Epic High stuff. So I figured to move along, I'd give them some other stuff of people who are really good by themselves, but have a group to back them that is just even better, and they make amazing musics.
But not music. Not music.
With a K. No, with a K. With a K. For Korean. Oh, look what he did there.
Oh. Okay,
so first up is Lee Sung, which we have talked about on this show many times, with their song Tears. Lee Sung is a duo featuring Gary from Running Man fame and Gil from what's the other
Infinity
show?
Challenge.
Infinity Challenge fame, which I don't think he's on anymore, is he?
Probably not.
Scandal.
I think the whole swerve.
Scandal.
He swerved his way off that show.
Yeah. So, you know, Lee Sung is a really good group. There's one of their songs that I think I've used maybe 3 times in what we are listening to. You know, to show how much I love Lee Sung and how much I love the music that they make. So I just thought this was a really kind of good song. It's not one of my favorites from them, but it's still a really, really good one that I just kind of wanted to bring to the attention of those out there who are getting into Korean music, but not necessarily K-pop. So going from there, in picking the standout from that, not standout, that's a really bad word. Picking the person who has gone kind of solo, is making single music, but it's still under Lee Sung, and it's still kind of that, which is Gary, one of the
Gary
rappers of the group. Yeah. And we've talked about Gary's solo stuff very much.
Depth.
And so I picked Shower Later of all the songs that he has, because it's just like kind of the standard kind of rap R&B song, and it has like a lot of fun flavor to it. And I just love the way that Gary raps.
Yeah, Gary, and I love the ridiculousness and the just in your face kind of sexuality to it, and you know, picking up a good looking white girl on the streets, just you can shower later, you know, and let's have fun now.
Yeah.
I love the not giving a fuckness of it all, and that's Gary to a T.
Zotamola.
You don't fucking know.
So next up, I picked Gyeok with his song Rhythm is Life from So Good. And Gyeok is another really cool standout rapper in the Korean scene. Really heavy hip hop. Like you can just it's just so good. Like, his rapping is so good, his style is so good, his delivery is really good. And I just kind of love a lot of the stuff that Gaok is featured in, and the stuff that he just does.
Yeah.
Is really fun.
Yeah, I love his flow. I love Gecko's flow, like his style and his like attitude and like his like intensity is just like really cool. But like he has a really cool like like style to it, like a flair, a panache, if you will.
Yes. And being the group that Gaok comes from is Dynamic Duo, and I picked their song "Three Dope Boys" because I realized we've done a lot of Dynamic Duo songs on the show. So I just wanted to kind of show off the group, you know, kind of at their strength, I guess. And I picked this song, and it's a really, really good one. Really strong beat. Really strong rapping from Gaok, and just so fun.
Yeah. So much fun. Gecko's like rapping style, you know, and he compliments it. Choi's compliments it really well. And they just kind of, I love Dynamic Duo. It's one of those things. Like, every time we like pop on a Dynamic Duo song, it's like, this is amazing. Like we talked about it before. It's like when their song with HyunA came out, it was like, this is another amazing song from Dynamic Duo. Why isn't this like the main thing on our playlist? It's like, you know, but like, yeah, their style is so cool, and they have such a cool swagger, and
definitely.
And that choice is one lucky dude. Just trying to throw it out there. Yeah, just throwing it out there. Yeah, it's just some fun stuff. But speaking of breakout, the hip hop style and things we've talked about before, the group, Play the Siren, that we've talked about before, that we've featured before for their performances, and they're ramping up for their debut, featuring somebody we talked about before, Casper, finally released the official music video for Dream Drive, and like, but you know, we've heard the song before, and it was a pretty cool song. And Luna from FX does a really good job. FX, we'll talk about that later. Luna from FX appears on this track and does a really good job. And it's definitely interesting how polished this ended up sounding at the end of the day. Casper Casper has definitely grown up a lot and kind of learned a little bit about what to do with her hands.
Oh yeah.
And overall, it's a really fun song. I think we've featured it before. If you've watched our previous episode when we featured the Belgian showcase, you know, you heard the song before, but it's nice to see it polished and presented and in video form, with a fun little video. And also, I wanted to feature their live performances because the big thing of why they're getting attention is because much is being now made of the fact that they keep calling them SM's indie label Balchunso. And it was funny hearing that constantly, because I think it was like, well, I thought SM just kind of invested some money into the company and just kind of, you know, they're still their own company, and they just kind of threw some money, helped them out a little bit. But it certainly is the case that they threw a lot more than money into that company, because from that performance to, if you watch this performance here, they are definitely a lot more polished, to say the least.
Well,
they got the dance routines.
Where you have a lot more time to set up for this than they probably had to set up for that showcase. It was just like, okay, we're supposed to go out here and do whatever. But now, you know, they've had the time with choreographers and people who are like, you know, you gotta do this, do that, do this, boom, boom, boom. You know, and it was probably a bit of a whirlwind for them, but, you know, it probably helped out a lot, you know? So.
Yeah. And what was your impression of seeing the kind of the final product and seeing it now that it's out?
It did come off a lot more polished. But I think they need to, like, it's kind of silly and campy, you know, which good. you know, but I think they kind of need something of just like their own kind of just. I don't necessarily know if this is their style yet, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
and they're gonna go through some changes and stuff like that, and then I think you come to the point where you settle and you're like, okay, this is the style, and this is how our music works, and this is how our format works the best with the group of people that we have and stuff like that. Because I don't really feel like everyone was showcased that well in that song. You know, I really don't feel like everybody stood out. Like, you see a lot of people's faces, you see a lot of stuff, you see a lot of things going on, but I'm not necessarily sure if we heard them as a group, or if we heard what was the best way to put together that song.
Yeah, I know that, and I should have probably included it in here, but they did a cipher. For those of you unfamiliar, ciphers where, just kind of the pass the mic style that Pop borrowed, I think from the BT, borrowed from somebody over here in the States, but it's kind of something that's been for rap crews. They kind of are prone to doing. So Play the Siren actually did a cipher, which I didn't end up including in the links, but I'm going to probably throw that in there in the show notes. But it's a completely different look from them, where you had that polished pop song, but this one was just them as, this is the hip hop crew in this location, passing the mic, or, well, there's no mic there, but, proverbially passing the mic. So it's an interesting thing to kind of see that, then this, and then, like you said, all right, okay, so you have that, you have this, which is what we're used to seeing from Play the Siren, from the little bits that we've seen before, and then that, and then we'll have to see how they can marry the two or find their place in there. If it's more towards this, more towards that, wherever their place is. Yeah, it's true that we're going to have to wait and see where they find their place in. But it's still cool. It's still cool to see kind of Casper getting a little bit of name recognition, because she's a cool kid. And she's getting good at what she does. And it's always interesting to see a YouTuber getting K-pop famous. like Eric Nam and Ailey before her. We'll have to see. But moving on to the next thing that has been kind of dominating my mindscape a little bit. Just a really catchy song. Block B came back. They were actually able to finally do a proper comeback. They're kind of,
are we starting the comeback thing again?
Yeah, unfortunately, they were trying to come back with Jackpot, but then things kind of didn't work out for obvious reasons of circumstances surrounding that time, when I think the whole K-pop world just stopped. So they kind of took a break and came back with this track off of the same album called Her. And it's just kind of a fun song. Like, Block B has this, like, not this cool style where they do not take themselves seriously at all, and they kind of have this really cool energy to them, and they all kind of have their distinct characters, and it's been kind of cool discovering the fact that they're like these 7 guys, but that's these 7 distinct characters. And yes, it very much echoes a little bit of Our Boys in Ping Pang, but that being said, I think it's still a really cool group, and I think this is a really cool song. And Zico raps with an ostrich, so I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for. I don't know. What impression did you have of this song?
I like it, but I like it kind of for the poppiness of it,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna include it in the year of the rapper, but the kind of silly poppiness of it, and we always do seem to like kind of have a soft spot in our heart for Block B, and how silly they can be.
Yeah.
And then their center dude still doesn't know if he wants to be Top or fucking GD.
Well, Zico, I think, is the one that wants to be GD now. I think they're settling on that. Top, your boy in the pink. I forget his actual name, but he looks like he wants to kind of be the cool-headed guy to be Top. But I don't know. I think that they're finally settling into that after several years of being in the business, you know?
Right. And I mean, the same thing happened with the Big Bang. Like, that's what we were just talking about with Play the Siren, right? Like, you have to have these moments where you have to really find yourself. You have to really find the thing that's going to make you unique. You go back and look at early Big Bang stuff, and I've said this time and time again, and I want people to do this. Go back, and maybe we'll feature this one day, like, kind of the pseudo change from, like, what Big Bang was to what they are. It's totally different. They were meant to be a pop R&B group, you know, in the stylings of like Boys to Men and 112 and those kinds of things. But they found their kind of unique sense in who they all were, you know?
Yeah, and Block B kind of really has found their sense, and they love playing around with it a little, but I think they find their personality in this kind of like bravado, comic, fun feel that has really cool energy, hip-hop influences, but really mostly pop. And I think, I like Block B. Block B is, so far has impressed me with some really fun songs, and this included. And finally, this is a song that I shared with you. That dropped, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
That new hot joint. From our girl HyunA. HyunA?
Yes.
With Red. She's back with a new single, a new album, and by many accounts, a new nose. So it really, and along with the new song, a new video as well. And I shared this video with you, and you said you liked it. You said you dug it.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I don't know. It's just, I love the styling of the song. I love her voice on the beat, and the video is just so fun, hip hop like styling, and she's just so fucking hot in this video. She's just killing it.
Yeah, she's so, like, HyunA will never be the most talented, or or necessarily the most creative, artistic. She's gonna be the top entertainer. Like, she is a performer through and through, and that's what she's always. That's what she wants to be, and that's all she really needs to be. And this is a fantastic performance song. It's like fun, it's sexy, it's like it does all that fun hip hop stuff that she likes to do. She's smacking asses at some point. It's like,
yeah, right there.
Yeah, the lyrics are fun and sexual.
I love her with that crown on. It just looks like so hotness.
Yeah. And I love the fact that she said that she didn't bother losing weight for this comeback. She was like, you know what? It didn't really make sense, so I'm just going to work out. It's like, so I don't know. Everything about this is just so really cool and fun and ridiculous and entertaining and like, of course, you know, it's getting all the hilarious hate too. All the butthurt wannabe white knights talking about, oh, she's being over sexualized, or trying to slut shame her. It's like, you know what? Get out. It's like, stay pressed, haters, because HyunA's back, and she's killing it. And I love it. I don't know, she's just so much fun, and she's just a fantastic performer. And I love this track. And her other track, Blacklist, is just as good and fantastic than what she's been performing on the music shows. And Honestly, I might pick up. I'm gonna have to pick up this album to see how else.
I think we're gonna have to do another album review coming from the boys over at Hallyujuku. HyunA, are we gonna say it's good? Who knows? Most likely.
Yeah, most likely. We'll let you mull over that possibility, but as we end the music segment and head over the headlines, over that way.
Brought to you by what do I got here? Axe body spray. Get sprayed
Ritz.
by Axe.
Ritz. It's not just a regular character.
We'd like to thank them for supporting Hallyujuku. There's no code.
No.
And Ritz as well.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Peter Rave once again. We're back with some headlines. Let's get into some interesting topical information. Topics of discussion. We're going to start off with some light fun fare. I'm excited about this, obviously, as the resident pop as the resident Crayon Pop. We have confirmation that Crayon Pop is going to be releasing a comic book, according to Chrome Entertainment. Crayon Pop is set to release a comic book, according to Chrome Entertainment, the talent agency that represents the act. The book, which is supposedly based on the true life adventures of the five-piece group, will be called Advanced Crayon Pop, or Dokyuk Crayon Pop. And that's the image right there. It's going to be written and illustrated by artist E.J. Sock. And I am hyped, but of course, because I'm a Crayon Pop fan. Are you interested in a Crayon Pop comic book?
I find it interesting because I think they're the right group for this kind of thing. As you know, being a fan of AKB, this is kind of the norm that, you have the manga for AKB, there's figurines, picture books, all that stuff, and anime and things like that. And I think with the silly kind of fun image that Crayon Pop has, this is something that they can have really, really well and can translate really well and not take away from anything that they're doing as a group. I even feel like at some point they could even have a cartoon or an anime or something like that, even like a little web tune kind of thing going on, because it just fits their image so well. It fits, their kind of silliness and adventure kind of thing so well. Instead of doing the standard, to put them on their on variety shows, give them their own variety show kind of standard fare, like do something a little different. And I think this is really creative and really fun. And I am excited to see what the other fans will have to say about this and how this kind of translates. And this could even be something that could introduce them to younger fans and give them people who will be fans that grow with them. Yeah.
Imagine if Crayon Pop turns into the new Korean Puffy Amiyumi, give them a cartoon that plays, Cartoon Network, give them completely different voice actors that can actually speak English, like they did to Jackie Chan, to play their characters. And then just kind of give them a show like based on their characters on like Crayon Pop TV, and it'd be super fun. And the art style is really cool, and like you can kind of, even just in this picture, you can kind of see the different personalities of that's Soyul. I can spot them. That's Soyul right up front. That's no, that's Soyul up back there. That's way up front. That's Choa. Ellen back there, kind of floating around in a mental daze, as she is wont to do, and the Gummy right down there with the short hair. And I'm like, I'm excited. Pop to see excitement. I'm gonna pick it up as soon as I can. I'm gonna like order it imported, like from Yes Asia, if I can. I'm getting that thing shipped with the quickness. But speaking of quirky Asian groups with fun followings, fun, interesting moment are girls in Babymetal. Are girls and guys, because I count the musicians that are behind them as part of the group. Babymetal won this publication Metal Hammer's Heavy Metal World Cup. As Asian Junkie points out, it's a online publication that did a poll based on the World Cup. So it's basically just a thing they threw up there to kind of draw page views from fandoms. So it's, mostly meaningless, a little fun, nothing really you would get worked up about, right? Nothing you would get really angry about or get pissy about unless you were like a teenage K-pop fan, right? Right. Well, it turns out no. Because the metal fans, people who I would consider my kinship, because I'm a punk fan, I'm a metal fan, but they got mad. They mad. They mad.
Tell them what they mad.
They mad during this weekend, and I think our boy IAFTV kind of summarized it really well. They kind of basically bring up 3 common types of mad that they are. Guy who accuses fans of sexualizing Babymetal. When have we done that? I don't understand that. I don't, because I've never really thought about that. You're the ones thinking sexual things when you see them and accusing us of that, because all I see is some quirky Japanese girls singing some metal stuff. No. Guy who whines about what real metal is. Roll eyes. Hashtag eye roll. And guys who are e-thugging real hilarious hard, which I love that word right there. E-thugging. Who are kind of just acting like, who are basically doing a disservice to the metal crowd, saying, "Oh man, back in my day, we would fucking kill their fans in the pit and go on stage and rip their heads off." It's like, shut up. Shut up. I don't know. What was your impression? Does this amuse you as much as it does me, the butthurt fans?
It does, and it's just one of those things where it is reminiscent of anybody they're really hot right now and they're really popular right now, and I know they may not be your pre-establishment of the idea of what metal is, and I don't really have a fucking leg in this race to talk about this, but I just think it's freaking awesome, and I fucking like it. Yes, I am fucking like preset to like fucking Asian poppy fun fucking music, and that's what it is. But it does have a really good rock fucking bass to it. So like, fucking have fun. God damn it, you emo fucks. I almost used another word, but like, stop. Like yes, it may not be your thing, but don't necessarily means that you have to like hate it. Yeah, it is linked within your realm, but like, metal is one of those things people can continually argue about what exactly metal is, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing particularly wrong with this.
And you know what? And they're Anthrax approves of them. Freaking Carcass approves of them. So you know what? Your opinions are irrelevant. And I think that about sums it up right there. There you go. It's one of those things where, and getting all worked up over a poll on a website, kind of dumb. But we love Babymetal, and hopefully they keep making haters get pressed left and right. So we can laugh and point at them and their immaturity, and enjoy it all the same. But moving on, to something a little bit different. So we're going to get into a nice little big chunk of our headlines. I'll talk about SM for some not so good things.
Yeah. We finally moved away from the YG JYP hour. You should be fucking proud of us. Listen to our first 10 episodes. You know how many fucking JYP fucking YG fucking stories are in there? Oh, yeah. I mentioned JYP. I gotta write a check. Continue. I don't want to find my checkbook.
JYP. Got a little whisper. Yeah, that whisper gives life. All right. So SM Entertainment is going to debut a new girl group, a new four girl group, called Red Velvet, because you know what cupcakes are in. You know, cupcakes are hotness. And they released their teaser, and it's interesting. They released their members. They are, you know, SM girl group members. They all have kind of their journeys that they went through to get here. They were either casted at one of SM's global auditions. I believe a couple of them were on shows, I believe, before, and they've featured on other artists' songs. So they've had their journeys, and it's they released a teaser, and the teaser is, you know, pretty simple, standard fare, standard SM safe. It seems very safe and very kind of nothing spectacular. But it definitely comes at an interesting time. You you kind of skimmed through the teaser. What impression did you get from the group?
Not a goddamn thing at all. Like, I feel like it's just going to be another FX21 styled group.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of flowers.
A lot of flowers.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Also happiness.
Pursuit of happiness. But no
something about happiness in there.
Yeah. And we can all use a little happiness. I think the additional aspect, which is interesting, is the amount of hate they're getting. And I think undeservedly, because it's got let me check, because he wrote it at first. It's got 19,000 upvotes and 12,000 downvotes. Like I said, we said no impression whatsoever. You'd think how is anybody even that motivated to dislike this? And what it is that people are a little upset at this coming out around the time we have our issues with FX, which we're going to get into in a second. And they're being a little mean. They're being a little mean, and I think it's almost a little unfair. They're creating a lot of passionate reaction for a group that, honestly, if a small group company came out with them, nobody would care. Which is fascinating in and of itself. But yeah, no impression. It's a very safe group from SM. But moving on, yeah, they're getting the hate because of the situation going on with FX, and the FX fans. So if people remember what, from, I think last week, we talked about how Sully was, noticeably absent from a couple of the performances by FX, and people were, a little worried. I'll have to say, honestly, there was a little tiny part of me that was worried. But I was like, okay, but I'm not going to panic. I know that, we don't know anything. We can only speculate. Then news came out that, their FX's calendar got wiped clean in, the Korean forum. It was like, well, we didn't get any official word about anything. So it was like, but I had to say there grew a little Ron Weasley in me. Going, can we panic now? And I said, no, Ron. No, not yet. I think we don't know what's going on. Not yet. You know, we can speculate, but we don't know what's going on. But then we got official word that FX was, even though it had only been 2 weeks into the promotions, they were ending their red light promotions, and Sully's going to take an indefinite break from the entertainment industry, and for promotions. And she's not going to be part of the SM Town Soul concert on August 15th, because FX will perform as a 4-person group. And Ron Weasley turned to me and said once again, can we panic now? And I ask you, Kaz, can we panic now?
I would say less panic and slight worry. It does go to boast as though maybe there's something going on, and then maybe there's something wrong with Haley, but I'm not going to sit here. I'm never going to sit here and speculate. I've done that before in the past, and nothing good comes of it. I'm just going to wait and see what happens, and I'm going to support FX as they go along, as a fan of the group overall, and give Sully our support that hopefully she does come back. Yes. There's nothing else more than that we can do. We don't know what's going on in Sully's life that is making her want to take a break. We don't know any of these things. And until we do know any of these things, we can't panic. We can't, act crazy. We just have to kind of just chill, and just wait.
Like we don't know. Hopefully, is there a possibility that this is a Marshawn Lynch situation? Holding out for that new restructured contract, the star player. That could be. I think that's what I hope for. It's just simple things like that, because hopefully it's not something serious with Sully, and also those people that seriously bring up the idea of pregnancy as their automatic answer for the rumors. Unless you're joking, shut up. That's not helpful, and you're dumb.
Can that be part of like in the like alternate universe where our show gets really popular, and then like I miss a show or two, and then we get somebody to just kind of stand in or whatever? Can that be like the thing? Is like, oh my god, he must be pregnant, the goddamn slut. Like he went out there and fucking. Like a god fucking asshole, man. Didn't even think about us, the fans. Just went out there and fucking laid down someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the alternate universe replacement, that just the resident the netizen is kind of the one, the kind of the avatar for all the butthurt netizens and dumb netizens that would kind of just be there. We can make it a character that could just appear in the popcorn.
That is now my dream in life. It's just like for our show just to get popular enough so I could take off a couple of shows and somebody be butthurt and just like start tweeting the fuck out of you and just being like, what's going on? What happened to Kaz? Did he die? Is he pregos? He's pregos, isn't it? He's a fucking slut.
That would be hilarious. Getting those rumors. And then, the dating rumors, like, me and, some other, like, some female, like, streamer or podcaster are seen around each other, and we have, like, a dating scandal. We have to have dates in a car. Really, I just want to have dates. Can I just date? Can I have a girlfriend? Should I have a girlfriend? But yeah, I think it's still too early to speculate about FX, but it did feel a little funny to see them start debuting their new group and start talks about debuting a reality show based around Tatsuso, their Sunishide subunit, and ramping up plans for a Taemin solo debut. It even though it's probably something that was in the plans already, it does feel like throw Taman out there. It's like just throw Taman out there. Let's have a Tetsuo reality show. Let's replace it. Let's kind of sub in that for Jessica and Crystal. It's like let's get some stuff out there. The new group, all that stuff. Chances are it's not the case, but it is kind of hilarious how all this is just starting to kind of get thrown out there, which is funny. But yeah, I'm worried about FX. I'm worried about FX.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know if I'm worried about either or any of these things, I feel like for FX, they're going to go on strong and they're going to keep happening. And then, like, with this more talk of possible reality shows, just like, this is just going to be the new world of K-pop for the next few months, and then they'll get over it.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, it definitely has been a very interesting year in K-pop. Definitely has been a wild year in K-pop. We definitely chose the right year to start this podcast. Because this has been a very eventful year in K-pop. And chances are we're going to be back next week with more crazy events to cover in our headlines. But for now, we'll wrap up our headlines and get into our Hallyujuku talk segment. So we'll see you over there.
So we're just done with headlines and we're coming back, and this is our kind of what we're watching Hallyujuku Talks section. In this section, we should be talking about Air City, but we're not done with Air City yet. Wait your fucking turn. It's a series. There's more than one episode. You gotta sometimes you take a break in between shit. So, because of my neglect and stupidity and having watched a movie and forgetting to tell Petey that it existed in the world, a movie that we were both very excited for, The Commitment, starring T.O.P from Big Bang, is and has been on Netflix for a few months now. I watched it as soon as that shit was on there. And at this point, I watched it twice. And Petey, the other day, in his excitement, was like, the T.O.P movie is on Netflix. And I was like, I watched it.
I got excited. I was like, I haven't been on Netflix in a while. I was like, what? What is this shit?
I had the same reaction. I was like, oh my God, I really need to. Is that T.O.P? I'm watching this shit right now. like that was my reaction to seeing this. All right, focus. Right. So this movie is a movie that me and Pete were really, really excited to see, and we're kind of waiting for, and we're going to figure out a way to see it. But luckily, legitimacy fucking reigns its beautiful fucking face into the world, and we watched it on Netflix. It's a thing as that me and Petey both pay. I know I'm pointing over here, and I know most of you know my computer is generally here, but I watch a lot of Netflix on my PlayStation, which is there.
Yeah.
So fucking focus. God damn it. I keep talking about focus.
Yes.
So let's talk about this movie, The Commitment, starring T.O.P. I'll give us a brief synopsis. T.O.P plays a spy for the North Korea who is more or less forced to go and complete a mission for them in the understanding that if he does this, he's free, and as is his sister. The movie is really, really good. It's really, really well acted and well directed by Hong Soo Park, who's the director of this movie. I don't know who the girl is. This is where Petey comes in and says who the girl is.
I think it's HyunA who plays the young girl.
Right. We don't see a lot of her throughout the movie. It's really mainly focused on T.O.P and the action. Oh my god, the action! Did I say there was action in this movie? Because there is.
Action.
I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of fun. It is, yeah, so T.O.P has his sister in his, like, North Korean labor camp, and then on his mission in South Korea, he meets a young girl, who's kind of, the target of bullies at school, because he's posing as a student, who shares the name of his sister. They're both Lee.
Yes.
And kind of is drawn to her just by the fact that she's kind of a kid getting beat up on and bullied. And he almost kind of feels like somebody who feels trapped in a situation, people that he feels helpless because he's been beat up and bullied by, his country. He feels this kinship and a friendship. But he also has some killing to do that he has to do. He has to shoot people and fight people. And you talked about the action. The fight choreography in this movie is intense. Like, it gets like, once they get into a fight, it's like,
the fights are, the thing I loved about them is they're not action movie fights. They're pretty hardcore, like, intense, like, I gotta take this motherfucker out type of fights, which is what a fight would really be in a situation like that, of like two highly trained killers. It's like, I gotta wreck this dude really quickly before he does the same to me. And it is just one of those things that is really, really good. And a lot of the other things is like kind of over the top and silly, where it's just like sometimes some of the killings are really just really out in the open. Yeah. And you're just like, just kill people in a public, like, fucking square and walked away like it was nothing, Yeah. But other than that, I thought the movie was really good. The more and more I see of T.O.P's acting, and now we have this comparison, right? Because you've watched Iris, right? Which is like kind of T.O.P's first really throws into acting, and he's okay. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to write home about.
He doesn't play a complex character though. He kind of he does his job well, but he does. Compared to this, he's definitely grown a lot as an actor. I was able to mentally not hold that grudge that I had from Iris. I didn't celebrate him. Spoiler alert! Dying at the end. I mean, there was a part of me that wanted to go, "That was for Yuki," but no, I didn't say that. Yuki. Right. I didn't. I sympathized with the character, and I understood there was a tender moment, and this is not that guy. But still, Yuki. Why you have to kill Yuki?
And he now T.O.P is also, he's not playing the most complex character in the world. He's just playing a dude who's willing to do whatever it takes to get his sister back, to get what's left of his family back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even the interaction between him and the girl isn't necessarily a love story. It's just a like he has that need to protect, and he just wants to be a big brother. That's what he wants, and that's what he's kind of doing throughout this movie. Like, I initially thought it was going to be a love story, but he is just being like a loving big brother throughout the whole movie, and it's really all it is.
Yeah, is this similar to kind of the Man from Nowhere? Netflix just like Netflix shows you, it's recommended based on your interest in The Man from Nowhere. In that kind of, it's more of a familiar relationship. Like you see that moment where he's filling out that form and he says, Ideho, relationship oppa, relationship brother, it's like, because that's kind of how he's starting to feel about this young girl because of that sympathy and that kind of finding a little bit of his actual sister in her, while he's, stuck on this mission. I think it's very interesting, and fun. It's not the most, it's not, Citizen Kane, it's not, it's not a cinema classic, but it does, evoke a lot of cool emotions. It lets characters be complex. I do love, because one could easily expect anything like Korean that when deals with North Koreans to make all the North Koreans look like silly cartoon villains, like everything Cuban American comedians and people do to Fidel Castro here. But the fact that you have these characters that you understand their motivations as human beings, and they're kind of, no matter how you feel it may be misguided, their loyalty to their country and to, to their movement, you still see that, and it's kind of cool and interesting, to see that. And it's that, like I said, that's one of the main reasons I was interested in seeing the movie. It was always those, like, the North Korean spy stuff and like the North, how they have these different characters. And it's like, all through the prism of some, people who maybe not have, have a tangential connection, kind of are only slightly closer observers, even though they are still looking at it on from the outside. It's still interesting. But yeah, I think overall a fantastic movie. Yeah. And did it live up to your expectations of the movie when you first saw it?
It did and it didn't, right? Like I kind of expected a little more story overall.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it to be such a simple plot. Like there's not a lot of complexity to it. It's they want the diamonds, and everyone else wants to get either the fuck out of North Korea or gain more power in North Korea. Of your protagonist, your protagonist and antagonist in the movies, right? Of the main ones. And then it's the cop who's trying to figure out the plot, which happens to be kind of a consistency in a lot of Korean like things, which is the cop who's trying to figure out the plot.
Yeah.
Because he knows there's more to this story than what's going on, but he's always a step behind.
It could have used a little more. It could have used a little more complexity in the story. I think if we can summarize it, it's fantastic action, fantastic fighting. I think it's very Bourne-esque. I think the Bourne series is definitely an inspiration for this. And like the gritty combat and things like that, just the fun action and kind of the stoic protagonist and whatnot, who's a couple of steps ahead in so many situations. And I think that's the main thing. The acting is really done well for what it needs to be. And I think the emotions carry around well. I don't know if I was necessarily pulled emotionally in any particular direction as much as I just kind of enjoyed the thrill ride. I think it may have tried to pull me in some ways emotionally, but I don't think it really worked on that level. But it was definitely an enjoyable thrill ride. I think. How would you summarize your thoughts on the movie?
My thoughts summarize kind of the same. It's an enjoyable thrill ride. I enjoyed what I watched, like definitely, and it's something I could watch again feasibly. Like I wouldn't have a problem watching this movie 3 more goddamn times because I enjoyed the acting of it. I enjoyed the action as well. But yeah, I wish there was a bit more to the plot. I wish it wasn't so simplistic. And I love movies that don't always have a happy ending.
Yeah, and I think the not it doesn't have a perfectly happy. It does have a little bit of happiness, but not for the main protagonist. That not for Top. At least not in the sense that he gets to live it.
Right.
Spoilers. Again, back to Iris. This time it's a little less random, but back to Iris. But I think that's our thoughts. We both kind of dug it. It's a fun action thrill ride, but not terribly deep. But exciting. Kind of like I was gonna say the Clippers, but I can't say that for sure. Exciting, but not very deep. But yeah, go check it out. It's on Netflix. It's a fun Netflix watch. It's a fun late night Netflix watch.
I already started watching it.
Yeah, it's a fun late night Netflix watch. Just like Man from Nowhere and a few other those those fun action movies, and we highly recommend it. Click the link and go check it out. I think that's it. That's all. Summarizes our thoughts, and that ends another fine episode of Hallyujuku. Cass, what's going on in your world online?
Not a goddamn thing. No, mainly just working on stuff to put stuff online. I spent some time cleaning today. I'm going to do some more of that so I can set up the actual studio space, which is over there, and hopefully be able to do more fucking things. Other than that, gearing up for Otakon. So we'll probably skip that that week, and there will be a show the following week after because I'm not gonna be Somerset. I'm gonna be gone.
Turned up. Turn up for Otakon.
Yeah, but it'll be Otakon weekend. There will be a lot of pretty pictures on the DeviantArt. You can see more of that stuff over at about.me/King Kaz and follow all the links and listen to all the other shows I do, like this one and the other one and future ones to come. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? You can follow him at about.me/King Kaz. I'm about.me/PD Rave. I'm same old things. Follow the shows. If you want, I'm not saying it's going to be a constant thing, but if you want, you can follow me on Twitch at rebelli.tv. I think I might occasionally start streaming every once in a while, some games here and there, mostly probably Rogue Legacy, maybe do a little Skyrim. I don't know, whatever I enjoy playing, whatever is like my main games that I enjoy. I can't promise you I'll be very entertaining, but I'll be there, and you can look at my face and you can watch me play a game.
The one thing I wanted to say to you when I saw that you were streaming earlier today, it is the best place in the world to practice your ramblings. And as we all know, this motherfucker can ramble, which is why I want to stream and do all those kind of things. And I'm going to do those things in the future because it is just the best place to sit and fucking ramble at a screen. Like, some people are better at it than others, but it's just one of those things. And I always kind of tell people who are new to that or whatever, just talk. Just talk. Don't look at the numbers. Don't worry about how many people are watching or listening like we do with this. I don't give a fuck. I'm essentially just talking to Petey. This is all that's really happening. Yeah. But it's a great place to work on that, to work on the solo conversation or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when people are watching, they're like, hey, this is an entertaining, I don't know who he's talking to, but god damn it if he isn't entertaining. And you sit and you tell stories about the game that you're playing, and sometimes you get mad, sometimes you get sad, sometimes, mad and sad are basically essentially the same thing. It's just the one you throw things, the other you cry into things. Yes. And it's just one of those things that is a great practice in life if you want to be somebody who presents yourself in front of people. Is just get out there, record yourself doing something. And with the way that the world works now, you can do it in so many places. There's YouTube, there's Twitter, if you're better at the writing, which I'm not so good at. That's going to be a future thing to work on. And you work on your things out there too, and enjoy East Asian pop culture. You didn't think I was going to end the show, didn't you? Bam! Did it.
Yes. Hallyujuku.com, kpoppodcast.com. You can follow the show at Hallyujuku. Rebellion.net for all the other shows. iTunes, Stitcher, all the other things. Subscribe, like, share, review. Until next time, hasta los huevos. Hi, Goat Herd.
Oh, also, we're actually going to start using the Twitter. I just said that, so that means it has to now be done.
Yes. You just declared it.
Bye!